Welcome everybody to the Manga Rundown episode 4. Uh, Thank you all for tuning in. Thank everybody for viewing it. Thank you everybody for the last video that I produced. It got a lot of views, my most likes. I really appreciate it. The Surviving My Hero Academia video was fun to record. It was fun. The Dustin showed in. Shout out to Dustin. Shout out to all the people that watched live. To all the people that watched after we ended the stream. Thank you everybody on that. And if you watch that stream, we're no longer talking about My Hero and the Manga Rundown. I just don't enjoy reading My Hero week to week anymore, so I'm not going to be talking about a series I don't enjoy on this channel. That's just me personally. I know other people do it all the time, but that's just not me. If My Hero increases in enjoyment, I will continue to talk about it. But until then, I will not be talking about it. All right, so we got that covered. I am going to be producing a video called "Surviving One Piece." It's going to be like this. It's not going to be like the "Surviving My Hero Academia" video. It's not going to be a live stream. It's going to be heavily edited. It's going to be like really, really good. I'm gonna get started on it soon, and I don't know when it's going to release, but that's going to be my big project for myself. I want to challenge myself in producing a very quality video. So my face may not be in it a lot. Maybe here and there for like some edits. I'm gonna actually have my actual mic, so the voice quality sound better. All of that. So look forward to that. That's going to be a big video I'm gonna be working on for maybe a couple weeks. Yeah. And then make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Thank you everybody again. This has means so much to me. I really want to make this my passion, like my job. This is my passion, talking about anime, manga, playing video games. So thank you everybody. And again, we're here talking about the manga rundown. Um, so first series we're going to talk about is Claymore. Um, Claymore was a little weird for me because I started watching Claymore early childhood, because I remember like maybe it was in elementary or middle school. It was on Comcast on demand, or I saw it somewhere, and I watched Claymore, and I was like, okay, this is cool. This is like dope. The violence, the gore, yada yada yada. But I don't really remember a lot of details from the Claymore anime as a kid. So when in my server that I'm in called Savage Mob, the host of the server decided to do a read through of it. I decided to join the read through with everybody that was reading through with him, and I gotta say that Claymore was a very, very enjoyable read. Claymore follows Claire and Reiki. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Claire is a Claymore, which are these half human, half demon-esque creatures that are taxed to hunting down full-time demons. Um, Reiki is pure human, and the idea of Claymore is that Reiki is helping Claire hold on to her humanity and helping her become more human, because after years of being a Claymore, and Claymores in general, they don't really have a lot of emotions. They detach themselves from humanity, and it's their journey, it's their relationship, it's her growing, it's him growing. And of course, there's a lot of other things. There's a lot of plot twists. There's a lot of characters that are introduced. The cast of characters are wonderful. They all have the very unique and distinct personalities. There's a lot of world building going on. There's a lot of secrets that you would never guess. There's like some hints to there, but unless you're like very, very deeply analyzing and not just speed reading through like I was, or like just binging it, you won't really see these secrets. So when the twists and turns come, it's like, holy crap. It's pretty spectacular. I enjoyed Claymore a lot. I gave it like an 8. There are some issues with Claymore. One, I think that the character, the art, not the art itself, but the way that the characters are drawn is a very big issue for me, because Claymores are all females and they all kind of look alike. Like, look at this picture right here that I have on the screen for Claymore. I could tell somebody that this is the same character at different points in her life, and I doubt anybody would not believe me. And the issue comes in is like when characters are on panel, unless you're very heavily invested in like each individual like subtle detail of a character, sometimes you get confused on who's who. Um, and I think that's a really huge issue. Like sometimes I did not know who was on panel at times. Um, like these, like they all like for the most part look alike. Like all the claymores kind of look alike. So I think that that's an issue. It's not a huge issue, but it's an issue I had as I was reading through it. I mean, like I like the series I read usually have characters that I can like tell apart, but Claymore was one of the first series I read where I was like, I kind of don't know who's who sometimes. But there are like specific characters that are so different from everybody else that it's like, okay, that's that character, and I wish it was more of like that, because the Claymores all have like the same color hair, because of they're basically witchers, and but they're all Geralt. If you know the lore of the Witchers, most Witchers aren't like Geralt, the main character, but all of them are like Geralt. So they're all like special in that way. Um, just imagine if all the Witchers had the silver white hair like Geralt, and they kind of all looked alike. AMG, I'm talking about Claymore right now. So yeah, so that was the issue. It's not a huge issue. I do think that sometimes Claymore it like sometimes it just didn't hit in certain moments. Like it was I don't know how to describe it. It was like I was invested in some things that was going on, but sometimes it was just like it's either went on a little too long on the thing or didn't like it didn't grab my attention enough. Like sometimes it went on too long, sometimes it didn't grab my attention on certain arcs. Um but it had its highs, it had some of its lows, but for the most part it stayed consistent all the way through. Um, my favorite character is a character I cannot name. Um, Claire, the main character, is not one of my favorite characters. I think she's top five. Reiki is like number two for me. Like the character I can't name and Reiki were like my two favorite characters. Um, the setting and like the time period is a time period I like in stories, so I enjoyed that. The art outside the character designs is beautiful, like the landscapes is gorgeous. The art paid a lot of attention to detail. And when I say the characters, it's just mainly the main Claymores that we follow. Like they all kind of look alike. But outside of that, Claymore is a very enjoyable series. I would recommend it to anybody. It's an 8 out of 10. I have really no big complaints about it. It's pretty good. Yeah. I would recommend it. So on to the next series. Now, Shamo or however you pronounce it, Shamo. I'll put it in the chat so you guys can see like how it's pronounced. But this series started off like very very strong, and then like apparently what happened is that the writer and the artist had a lawsuit against one another, and I guess the artist won in the lawsuit, and so the writer was taken out of the series, and then from the halfway point to the end of the series it was a different writer, and you can tell that the writing was different. You can just immediately tell that the writing was different, and you can tell that the direction of the story it didn't really have the same foundation, the same structure, the same end goal that the original writer had. So that was like is weird because the series starts off. Our main character, there's no secret about it, is a scumbag. He's probably one of the worst main characters out there in terms of like the scummy things he do, the type of person he is, how like of a bad human he really is. Like he's terrible. Like he deserved to like be put in prison and have the key thrown away. That's our main character. Yeah, it is unfortunate. Um, but he also is a brilliant fighter, and this series follows him on the path to being a great fighter, and him going through the world of martial arts in different categories and different stages and fighting it and honing his skills. But also it follows like his tragedy of a life because in the synopsis and then what you find out in the first chapter is at age 16 or it was 17 he murdered his family. He killed his mom, killed his dad, and let his sister live. and he was thrown in a juvenile facility in Japan because they can't get tried as adults. No matter how severe the crime is, they get sent to a juvenile facility. And in that facility, he was beaten, he was abused, he was everything that goes on in jail. That it was done to him. Um, and he eventually got put in martial art classes, and that's where he learned how to fight. He started off as a scrawny kid, and he eventually like got really really good at martial arts. And he learned a secret martial arts. Well, it's not really a secret martial arts, but it's a martial arts that isn't studied because most martial artists now in the world do it for sport, do it for entertainment, do it for like self-defense of that. But the martial arts he learned was meant to kill people. So he's a very deadly combatant. And that's what he learned. And his teacher taught him in the wrong way. And when he finally got let out of juvie and got let into the real world, those teachings carried over. And yes, AMG, that's what happened. His teachings got taken over, and then when he got into the real world, he started resorting to prostitution. Not him buying prostitute, he was a prostitute. He got into drugs heavily. He like all the scummy things. He would beat people up. He would like put people in it within an inch of their lives. Like like every worst crime that you think that somebody could do, he basically did. So, like, just let your mom ponder on all the worst crimes in the world. He did all of that, and he's what we're following. And and I will say that the midway point was a great midway point. Like when we got halfway through this manga, I was like, oh my god! Like I cannot wait to see how this goes forward because it was such a spectacular like first half of the series. And I was like, "Oh my god, this is gonna be," because like he started to kind of redeem himself through all of that. He was still a piece of shit like at the end of the day, but he started to like find a little bit of like inner peace and a little bit of s- of sanity, and that was stripped away from him immediately. And the second half of the series was supposed to follow that, but what we got in the second half was just like it started off as mediocre and it just got terrible. This is one of the worst endings of a manga I've ever seen in my life. Like the ending is what I thought was going to happen, but the execution and the way it was handled was terrible. Like it was terrible, man. Um like if I was to recommend this series, I would say read halfway through, and then you know where the halfway point is. They make it very obvious. After the halfway point is, just say that he goes on living life and drop the series right there. But if you do continue like I did, when you get to the ending and you get to the final fight, oh my god, you're gonna be like, there's just no way. There's just no way. But Shamo, Wave recommended this to me. It was an enjoyable read for while it lasted, and he said that himself, and I didn't heed his warnings about the second half, but you know it's a very great character study, and it shows every aspect of life, like how privileged people act, how middle class people act, how the lower class, and how people get into drugs, and how it's hard to get off of it, how people get into prostitution, how it's hard to get out of that, how like life is just sometimes just beats you down, and like sometimes the only way you can do anything is just by doing things outside of the law that normal people would not understand, but they have no way out because of the circumstances they were put in. This in the first half, this manga does a very very great job of portraying that, and it is truly amazing. But the second half happened. How do you spell it? Shamo. Um, it's gonna be kind of hard to find it. I think allegedly, allegedly, you can read it on Manga C, whatever that is. Allegedly, I've never heard. That's what the wind is telling me. Manga C. I don't even know how that came out of my mind, but that's allegedly where you can read it at. So Shamo, or Shamu, is a great series. For the first half and pretty mediocre to terrible at the end. Um, but like I still think the first half is like if I was to just to rate the first half by itself, I would give it like a 9. Then after that, I would give it like then the second half, if I rated it by itself, I would give it like a 5 or a 4. you know. And then combined together, I would give the series like a 6 or 7. So Shamo, great series. First half, terrible series. Second half. All right, let's go on to the next series. This series is called Comey Can't Communicate, or Comey. I think it's Comey Can't Communicate. Um, this is a slice of life that I am enjoying immensely, like a lot. Like I think I'm 160 some chapters in right now. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm enjoying it a lot. Like this series is what Watamote wants to be. Like Watamote shows depression or shows like the inability to communicate in a way that I just could not vibe with. Like it was just the comedy wasn't there. Like it just wasn't good to me. But this Comey Can't Communicate, I'm enjoying it a lot. Like the main character Comey has has the disability of not being able to communicate properly. Like she gets very nervous, she has social anxiety, um and it's very hard for her just to like be a normal human. Like she like can't go to sleep sometimes because she's constantly thinking about what she did during the day. Like it really affects her. And in comes main character number two, dude. I can't remember his name, but he helps her try to communicate. And the ultimate goal of them is for Comey to get 100 friends. That's the premise of the series. It's her trying to get 100 friends so she could break this can't communicate disorder that she has. And I think it's a very enjoyable series of like somebody going from one end of the spectrum slowly trying to progress to the other end of the spectrum. And I think literally every single character in this series is phenomenal. I think that the best character is Comey's dad. He is literally the most badass character in anime history. He's a Chad. Like when you think of Chad, Comey's dad is like right next there. Like in the definition, he's just standing there like a beast, like a boss. Um, like because of the premise is kind of episodic and the manga chapters are episodic. It's really hard for me to like talk about it in a generalized format because each chapter is so different from the next. Um, why 100? Like damn, that's got to be a lot of gonna be a lot of fake friends, but not necessarily. And this is what this manga tries to show is like friendship can sprout in different ways. Every friend doesn't have to be like this super close, tell you every single secret type of friend. Like there's a hierarchy of friends. Like there's a spectrum in between. You can have your greatest friends up here, then you can have friends down here that aren't like who you want to call like the first second that you have something wrong, but they're still your friends nonetheless. And like I think that's what this series portrays really well is that friends comes in all shapes and sizes, and you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. And like everyone brings something to the table because everybody is unique in their own little way. So I think that that's what Komi-san really does well. I think that the relationship between her and the main character is kawaii desune. Um, is adorable. I can't like their relationship is fantastic. Like the romance, because they're both kind of awkward, is pretty entertaining. Um, you know the like it's just a fun read. Like I can't really talk about it because like it's not because of spoilers, it's because it's very episodic. Now there are storylines that tie in together and weave together over like a couple of chapters, but it's like very far in between. So like I would say give this a read. And MG yeah, it's a homie tier list like Stoney said. And MG, I think you're looking at this from a very pessimistic like standpoint. Like what your definition of fake is doesn't apply to everybody, and I think that's what San like Kami can't communicate really shows. It's like there are some of her friends that people will consider fake, but Komi-san doesn't see it that way. It's like that's just their personality. It's like, do I expect every single person to be this perfect guy that like like is the fully encompasses what I think friendship is. No, like they have their flaws too. They're humans. Everybody can't be the like this real friend. Like you know what I mean? So and everyone's different, but at the end of the day they all get along. Like you know, and it's like you sometimes like stuff happens. Like it's humans. Like just because somebody does something in the future doesn't mean that you're not friends at the at the moment. So Kobe-san can't communicate. I can't recommend it enough. I'm 161 chapters in. I don't know how it gets later on. From Satsuki, the person who recommended me this series, he didn't recommend it. I forced it out of him. Um, the person that I originally saw reading this series says later on it gets kind of bad, but I've been noticing that me and him have a lot of different tastes on certain on little things, so I can't say if it gets bad or not. But if I finish this before the next manga rundown, I'll come back and say whether or not it's good or bad. Kami can't even sleep because of her thoughts, and you expect me to trust her fakeness radar. But AMG, this is a manga, and we see all aspects of the character, so we know if they're fake or not. So like, it really doesn't matter like what you think. We see every aspect of each individual character's life, so we know whether they're fake or not. And none of them, like, of course, I don't know what you consider fake, but you know, but yeah, Komi-san can't communicate. Give it a read. I'm enjoying it a lot. If you like slice of life, or you're looking for another slice of life, I will recommend it. All right. Whew. On to the next series, Vagabond. Vagabond, man. What can I say about Vagabond? As there's really not a lot for me to say because I'm only like 30 something chapters in, if I recall. Um, but I think I'm exactly 34 chapters in. I remember. So far, I know Vagabond is a series that everyone considers like the greatest manga of all time. That is just like this thing that is towering above everybody else. Um, Shibologist, what's up, bro? Um, but 34 chapters in, I can see where you know where the greatness of Vagabond can come from. 34 chapters in, it's like you know it's a slow build up. There have been some great action scenes. There have been some great comedic moment scenes. Uh, it's really hard for me to talk about Vagabond because I don't have a really great picture of it. I enjoy the main character. Um, the main character's ex best friend is one of the worst characters. I want him to get stumped out for what he did. But overall, I'm enjoying Vagabond from what I read, and I can't wait to finally catch all the way up to Vagabond so I can tote it at the level that other people do, and also so I could be upset that Vagabond will never get another chapter. Because of course I know that Vagabond is not continuing anymore. So I think that it's going to be interesting when I catch up to see how I feel about it, not ever getting a chapter again. So I would say if you haven't read Vagabond, join me on my read through of reading Vagabond, and I think that we all will, see what the hype is about. And I think the hype is there, and I can't wait to catch up. So that's my opinions of Vagabond. I haven't gotten far, but we'll see. Now, Record of Ragnarok. I know the anime is out. Let's not talk about the anime. Let's talk about the manga. And I will say, if you're looking for some meathead beating on the chest, like ew, 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 ooh, ooh, like monkey, like brainless meathead fun, Record of Ragnarok got that in spades. I promise you, the Adam versus Zeus fight, I was ripping my shirt apart. I was like, this shit is hype. I was like, let's go, bro. Like literally, Adam had one of the greatest lines in manga and anime history, and I was like, this is the Chad. This is the most alpha Chad of Chad of all time. Like I was like, this is hype. I was like, salute. When he was like, is there a reason for a father to want to protect his children? I was like, Daddy, I was like, Papa Adam. Papa Adam, bro. Papa Adam. Like, this is hype. And I'm not gonna spoil the end of the fight or any fight, but regular Ragnarok. If you looking for some hype, just like Chad alpha moments, like some meathead fun, some great fights, this is the series for you. But I don't think there's like too much substance in regular Ragnarok, but that is okay. Like you don't need every series to be like a mind turner to get you thinking about the philosophical ways of life and how humans interact. Like, you don't need all that. Sometimes you just need good fun, and regular Ragnarok is that. Um, I do have some issues with regular Ragnarok. I think that the Adam and Zeus fight should have been placed later because of how great Adam and Zeus was and how great I was invested in Adam's character and how great I um like Zeus was and how like it really made you buy into the fight. Every fight afterwards, besides Jack the Ripper and Hercules, like it's kind of hard to care for the fights. Like the the Indian guy fight, I really didn't care about it. I just really didn't care about it. It was like I was kind of just speeding through it because it was just like okay, a character, I guess. Like I think regular Ragnarok's problem is it doesn't do the characterization of all the characters as well as it does Zeus or Jack the Ripper or Adam. And yeah, sometimes you just want to see see hands thrown, and like I think that sometimes like with Shiva, yeah, Shiva fight was so meh. Like even the backstory was meh. It doesn't compare to Hercules backstory. It doesn't compare to Jack the Ripper backstory. It doesn't compare to um Adam's backstory. It doesn't compare to the most losing samurai of all time. Like it doesn't compare to Poseidon. Like I think that Record of Ragnarok, from what I've seen so far, hit a stride early on, and it looks like it's kind of declining. Like Buddha, I don't even care about the Buddha fight that's currently is going on. Buddha is cool, but like the person he's going against and like that backstory, I kind of really don't care about. Shiva, I really didn't care about. Hopefully, the next fights in the series after that can go back to being like where I care about the characters because I think that's important. Like caring about these chats among chats, these fighters among fighters, and that really helps the enjoyment of the series. And I also think Adam was just the best one there was. So Record of Ragnarok, if you're looking for some great meathead fun, read it now. Like just go read it. You'll enjoy it. You will enjoy it. All right, let's go on to the next series. All right, I stand on 1 million lives, or standing on 1 million lives. Um, this series was surprising. Like I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. Like it really delves into like like the humanity of it all. Like I don't know how else to describe it without spoiling it, but Standing on a Million Lives is a very interesting series. It's an isekai, but it's an isekai that's kind of different because in Standing on a Million Lives, they go back and forth between the isekai world and the human world. And I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it raises a lot of questions of humanity and what it is to be human and what you should save and what you shouldn't save. Um, like there are some moments of like really regret. It's some moments of it's some it deals with some things of like living your life to the fullest in the moment and don't have regrets, like, and also telling people how you feel in the moment and telling people what you want to tell them, and also not leading people astray, and like there's a lot of it, like, and the main character is very dark. He's not a typical isekai main character. He's very like sadistic in a sense, and he has a lot of room to grow and progress. And like someone said, he either is going to be humanity's biggest hero or humanity's greatest villain. And I think that Standing on a Million Lives really tackles a lot of great subjects. And I think that it's a great series to read. It's not going to be for everybody because it is an isekai, and there are some especially earlier on, there are a lot of like just like random tropes just thrown in there. The tropes are like heavy early on, and if you can't get through that, you won't get to the greatness. Uh, but of course, once you get past that and once you get like really deep into the series, it's very very enjoyable. Um, I think that this is a series that everyone I'm not recommending it to everyone, but if you kind of like the isekai um genre and you like the deconstruction of it in a sense, I think this is a series that you should read. I mean, if you don't like isekais and you don't like deconstruction of isekais, and you want a more grounded series or a series that is a little bit more deep, I don't think this is for you. So, how many chapters so far? Oh, I can't even tell you how many chapters so far. It's definitely over 100, I think. I think it's definitely over 100 though. Um, But yeah, this is a series that's 50-50. Some people will like it, some people won't like it. Personally enjoy it. I don't think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I give it like a 7. It's an enjoyable read. I think you will enjoy what it has to offer. And some things may hit you more than other people. So there's that, or some things may not hit you at all. But Standing on a Million Lives was a read that I surprisingly enjoyed. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did, and I like it. So yeah. So also the main character doesn't have a normal class. He's a farmer. He's a chef. He's like he doesn't have normal classes, and he has to make do with those random classes. But come to find out, these random classes that most people would think are trash, he makes them work really well because their secret abilities are like kind of OP. Like for example, like if you're a chef, you can analyze like animals and see their weak points because you're used to cooking them. And it's a weird thing that even warriors don't have. So he can find out the weak points of animals, monsters, and humans. It's pretty good. So if you like main characters not having like normal abilities and learn how to make them OP, this is also a series good for you. So I stand on a million lives. I would say give it a read. Give it a read. Give it a read. Um, Now we're finally getting to our webtoons, manhwas section of the stream. The skeleton soldier fell to defend the dungeon. Long title, but this this manhwa is interesting. Like it has a unique premise where the main character is a skeleton and he's basically Subaru, where he every time he dies, he um he restarts at a certain point. And if you watch ReZero, you know the problems with that come with that. But he doesn't have the same problem with Subaru because he's not human, so he doesn't have the same mental shock as Subaru would have. But the problem always comes in where the restart point is, and if you've read ReZero, you know the issues that come with having a restart point and it changing. So that's also an issue he has. Um, the action is great. The power system is great. The way he levels up is great. This is a series that's really fun to enjoy. Um, like this series really work like plays with your heartstrings because there's certain characters that like you're like, man, they just had a bad draw at life. They just had a really bad draw at life, and like his actions change people's lives so much and so drastically that he feels like he has issues with that because some of the things he doesn't impact everybody positively. Sometimes people get a really really short end of the stick, whereas previously they had a good hand dealt, but because of the things he did, they get dealt a very terrible hand and a very shitty hand at life, man. And it's a great series. I think that everyone should give it a try. Has a lot of mystery, has a lot of intrigue. I enjoy every character. There's not a single character in this series that I dislike. Um, for a manhwa is surprising. Like, bro, all the manhwas like this solo leveling. Yeah, Sony. Yeah, he starts becoming more human. Like this solo leveling. All these manhwas are just 10 out of 10 bangers, man. This isn't a 10 out of 10 series, but you know what I mean. Like it's just very good. What we reading? This is called The Skeleton Soldier Failed to Defend the Dungeon. and it's a great series. I would recommend it to almost anybody. I think there's something in there for everybody to enjoy. There are some slice of life beats in there. There's a lot of action and there's a lot of power system like scaling if you want to scale people. There's there and that. There's a lot of unique weapons. There's the world building is very unique. The world itself is very unique. So and it's not an isekai. It's just a fantasy world. So um yeah, I think it's a great series. It's not really like with series like this, it's very hard for me to talk in depth about because there's not really a lot of there to like dissect or really like expound upon. It's just, a good fun, enjoyable series with some great action, some great stuff. And if if I was to break down chapter by chapter, there'll be more to talk about. But I want the manga rundown to be a general overview of series and not like a heavy deep dive. If you guys ever want me to heavily deep dive on any series, I will. And again, like I said at the beginning of the stream, I'm going to be doing um a video called Surviving One Piece, and that video is going to be heavily edited, and it's gonna be the first video on this channel where I'm really gonna challenge myself with the editing and like really put a lot of work into it. I don't know when it's gonna release, but Survival One Piece is gonna be a big video for me. So yeah, if you ever want me, or if you have any other series you want me to do to survive, because I want the surviving series to be like an actual series of like manga and anime that we survived. Like we were like we're surviving these series because of what happened. So so yeah, let's go on to the last series. I have to talk about. Um, and this is one that Rant recommended to me. Um, Second Life Ranker. Uh, bro, what this dude is a Chad. Like he's an alpha. Like that's all there is to say about this series, man. This is this is a very very like Chad series. Like my God, like this is an isekai. Um, where the main character knows where he's going, he willingly goes there. Uh, he willingly goes to this world because of reasons. I don't want to spoil it. And as he's going through that world, he was once a military soldier, and he has a military training, and the part of the world he was in with the military was very dark. It was very like super wartimey. So he understands the loss of life. He doesn't have those fears. He's killed people before. He's doing all of these things. So like now that he's in this isekai world for the reason he is, and he has a goal he wants to accomplish, and he's very analytical. He's very cold hearted. Like he doesn't have the issues that a normal isekai protagonist would have. So he is zooming through and like putting niggas in body bags. Like he put their body bag in a body bag, and then their body bag in a body bag. This nigga is just that's who he is, and the way he gets abilities, the way he understands the system of the game, the way he really not the game of the world that he's in, the way he really puts all of his knowledge to use. He excels, and he like even he started later than everybody, mind you, and he excels at a very great rate, and it feels natural. It feels like it should be. Like that's how it should be. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like like ass pulling. It feels like things that with the information he has and the information he gathers, logical conclusions, and that's what I like about the series. And then at a certain point, he gets the new outfit, and the outfit is like amazing. It's on that Sun Jin Woo level, man. So I would say read Second Life Raker. You will enjoy it. I don't think you will be disappointed. Yeah, but that's it for me today. I don't want to go too long. Um, when it comes to talking about series I've read, but now I want you guys to recommend me series. I'm gonna do something. I'm doing something new with the manga right now, where I'm not reading. I can't read the first chapter of series anymore. Like I just can't do that on stream. Like I would much rather prefer y'all recommend me series, and then on the next manga rundown, I just come back with y'all series I've read and I give my opinions on them. I think that's more fun and interesting because I can have a bigger sense of what the series is. So yeah, um, and this time it was pretty good. There was not really any series that I had an issue with, besides Shamo. Like the second half of that was terrible. Other than that, I think like all the series I talked about this time were really good. I don't think there was an issue I had with like too many series. So yeah. So if you guys have any recommendations for me to read, I'm not one of those people that like don't like recommendations. I'm willing to give anything a try. So um, list your recommendations down there in chat. We're gonna talk for a couple of more minutes, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, guys. So yeah, I'm waiting on y'all to just put down your recommendations. Y'all can either put them in chat or send me in Discord. So let's read some of the comments. AMG said a heavily deep dive on Kingdom. I want to say your opinions are wrong. If I was to do a deep dive of Kingdom again, I would have to reread the series because it's been so long. It's been so long since I read Kingdom. And I don't really remember too much about it. I've been letting it stack up and build up because when I finally caught up to it, I was like, Kingdom is not a series I want to read week to week. It just wasn't good week to week. So yeah, if I was to do it but like survive, I don't think I could do a surviving Kingdom because I enjoy it. I enjoy it, but if I just do like a deep dive video, I could, but I'll have to reread it. I'll have to really reread it. Um, MG said I tried standing on million lives, couldn't get through it. Isekai don't hear from me besides Digimon. Oh well, that's a shame. There's a lot of great isekais out there. But yeah, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you for everybody that came through today. AMG, Stony, I think that's Choco, Chibi, I think, Rant, Perry. Thank you guys all for coming through today. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. It helps me a lot. Um, yeah, thank you guys so much for everything. I will be back. I don't know if I'm gonna do a manga rundown every single week now because I think it's more interesting when I have more series to talk about. Because I'm not gonna be reading a lot of series throughout this week, and I think every 2 weeks would be the perfect like space in between these series. And I gotta find like some other content to make in between like doing the manga rundown or like because the manga rundown should contain a lot of series that I've read. So yeah, I gotta figure that out. I gotta figure the direction of